We are joined again by coaches Walker and Houle, and of course the Day's Vicky Fulkerson. And with us now, some of the Bears. We've got Sarah Flakus and Tori LoPresto, Maggie Constantine, Shea O'Connor, and Coach. Am I allowed to call you T. Kane?
Sure. Of course.
Back on the call with us after the second inning. And so, Coach, I told you I wanted you to take the reins now. You've got your girls here.
Okay, I'm ready. All right, I'm going to send it over to Sarah Flakus first. So Flakus and girls, if you could sort of maybe just say the favorite part of your game, or just sort of even talk about our perspective of getting the field ready and the game prepped and all that stuff, which is like a lot of what people don't see, if that makes any sense.
I personally love to play for the Cure game, and it's my favorite game of the year. And my favorite part is probably like the ceremony we have before the game actually starts, because even before I was a freshman, I would watch the games because my sister played for 2 years before that. And it was always so cool to me, but like being the freshman and like throughout my years, actually like being a part of the ceremony and getting to hand like the people were honoring like the first balls throw out and flowers and posters and stuff, that really just made a big impact on me, and it was my favorite thing, and it still makes a big impact like to this day. So that was my favorite part.
You get to pick who goes next.
Okay, I'm gonna go with Tori.
Nice. My favorite part is probably decorating along with the ceremony, but we're always in charge of putting like the cups in the fence and hanging up the pictures, which is probably the most special part because we're playing for all of those who were affected, so you get to just be a part of everything. Maggie, you go.
I definitely love like how our whole team just comes together and like we plan it like the days leading up to it is like that's where all the work goes through, and like even like during school like we'll always take our study halls off to like go blow balloons up in Gwalt's room.
Yeah.
And also like after the game where we eat food, it's really good.
And Shea?
I also agree with Maggie because I like the decorating, and also like how the team like works together to put all the stuff together is always really fun. But one thing that I really think is fun is like reading all the cards with like the patients and like learning their stories and what they went through.
I will say that as a baseball guy, this game showed me. I learned firsthand when I had to face Carolyn Tabor years ago on the first ever game day challenge. I learned just how competitive and really good a lot of the softball players are, yourselves included. And then going to see how much effort you guys did behind the scenes to get that field to be so perfect and special and to make it such a wonderful experience for spectators. Honestly, you guys were all responsible for giving me my first true appreciation for how much work goes into an event like that. Let me ask, and we'll start with Sarah. For you, playing in this game as a freshman, this is a big game. Waterford was a very good team. You've had a chance to watch a little bit. You said you just got to see an at bat. What memories come back of that day?
Honestly, I just remember like at first being like so scared because I was just a freshman and I didn't want to like let anybody down. But then once like we had the ceremony before the game and I like started thinking about it, I just remembered that the game wasn't like about like winning and losing and like messing up in errors, even though that was important and I did try my best and that was the main thing on my mind. But it was also just about like playing for those who couldn't. And the most important thing was like honoring those that are battling or have battled to survive something that affects everyone's life and is so terrible. So that was the main thing in my mind.
Tori, do you think this year and the sort of, I know it's incredibly disappointing to not have this game, but do you think that's going to propel you and your teammates into next year as far as having an appreciation for how special events like this are?
Yeah, definitely, because it'll be our senior year, and I think it'll definitely push us harder because we can't take anything for granted, which it just makes the game more important with it being our last year and playing for those who we have lost.
So Shea, what's the one thing you're going to look forward to most in next year's game?
Probably like putting up the decorations, which I always think is super fun because all of the team just comes together and it's just a really special day. And especially at the end when both teams come together and we have that cookout is always really fun.
Now, Maggie, I know that I got off the air reports that you are in heavy training, running daily, at least 100 feet at a time. Is that something that, is on your mind, that you have to stay, ready and prepared because, at some point sports is going to start again? Are you ready to get going again?
I think I'm definitely ready. I like to stay active because, especially now, because I think this is the same with a bunch of softball players this year. Like, I've never gone a season without playing a sport, so it's definitely weird for me. So I'm just trying to keep, life a little bit normal.
You guys, what is that? Like you talk about coming together at the end and having the cookout and with Waterford. How different of a dynamic is that you want to beat them and win your division and score runs and play your best but you kind of have like a relationship with them off the field through this game. Like, you get together and have your team photo taken together before this happens and stuff like that. Like, Tori, how different is that as far as the dynamic that you have with Waterford?
I think kind of like Maddie said, we've all been playing together since Little League, and all four of us personally, we've played against them since Little League. So I guess like after the game wise, we all know each other really well because we've all played each other. So at the end, when we all get together and just have fun and just think about the game and what we're playing for, it's just like a great time.
Anne-Marie, you've talked about that. How different is that for you? Like, as a coach, like you've talked about, like you have so many mixed emotions. Marissa's pitching, and you've known her since she was 9 or 10, and she's part of your life. Also, like how do you kind of coach and put your emotions aside for a couple of hours?
Yeah, I don't think I do a great job of it, to be honest. I mean, we've talked, and I don't know if it's because as the girls have said, the lead up to the game for us it's a major event. Do you know what I mean? And so I think it's just a lot. We work through the mental part of it. I mean, yes, it's decorations, but like Shea said about reading the bios, like as you're putting them on the dugouts, you're reminded of those people, and especially for those that have gone. I mean, we're raising money for Stonington's Lisa Wentz. I mean, and so I mean that's a huge part of it is trying to keep your emotions in check. And I mean, listen, I'm not going to lie. Once I became a mother, I think it got even harder for me because you realize life is precious, and stuff like that. So it's. I'm sure Andy can chime in. It's probably, I don't know if it's easier for him. I have a tough time with it, especially when Marissa finally took the field, because here's a girl who's battled cancer, survived it, and now she's getting a chance to play something that at times high school kids take for granted, and they can. That's kind of part of growing up. You don't realize it. And that's kind of what I said before, like this pandemic it's reality, right? Like you don't think when would we think we would not be on a field right now? Never. So, I mean, it's a reminder of it all.
I think if you had told me 6 months ago that I'd be spending more time fishing and hiking than I would be on a baseball field, especially since I neither fished nor hiked prior to recently, it is absolutely, it's very, very strange. But I think as the girls said, it's knowing that there's something on the other side, something to work for, something to play for. Sarah, where are you going to be next year?
Next year, I will be going to American University in DC.
Wow, no better place to go to school than DC. That's fabulous. And I just want you to spin the camera over so we can see. Is Flakus 2 still sitting next to you?
Flakus 2 is still sitting next to me.
It's good to see Abby.
You too.
So we're going to head back in a moment and check out inning 3 of what we thought was going to be a marathon game. But it's done after Coach Walker's shrewd move, the triple play ball, things do settle in at this point, and you see Coach Houle shaking her head.
I can't wait for you to bring it up to the alumni and let them tell you how they felt about that triple.
We're gonna definitely. They're gonna be a little spunkier, I think.
Yeah, listen, stay tuned. It's about to get real.
Well, thank you very much to Sarah Flakus and Tori LoPresto and Maggie Constantine and Shea O'Connor. We really appreciate you joining us and sharing your memories. Sarah, good luck next year, and for you, the three that are returning back to Stonington, we look forward to seeing you back on the field.